Welcome to ABC-7 Extra. Happy Sunday evening, everybody. I'm Paul Cicala. We've been discussing the proposal for the Multipurpose Performing Arts and Entertainment Center in downtown El Paso. And if you just joined us, our guests include former El Paso Mayor John Cook, who was in office when the original 2012 Quality of Life bond was passed that created the way for this project. City Representative Cassandra Hernandez, City Rep Chris Canales, who represents the district that includes the most recent proposal for the Multipurpose Center next to the historic Union Depot, and Joe Gudenrath, the Executive Director of the El Paso Downtown Management District. And this question, again, is open-ended for everyone. How would you address the many voters who thought they were voting for a 12 to 15,000 seat arena? I know we talked a little bit about it earlier, and it's been noted that during the campaign for the Quality of Life bond election, there was lots of information that was given about an arena with up to 15,000 seats. And I know the language on the ballot did not have the word arena in it. Also, the word downtown was left out, even though it appears in the bond ordinance. So would you address those concerns, or how would you at least address those concerns now as we try to move forward?
Yeah, I'd say, as I did before, we didn't talk about an arena. We talked about a multi-purpose performing arts center that could be used as an annex to the convention center. That's what we promised the voters, and that's what we ought to give them.
I do want to add that the city has not looked for additional revenues. We cannot just wait for businesses to knock on our door. There has to be a concerted effort and an economic strategy to issue out an RFP, a request for proposal, ask the nationwide vendors if they're interested in partnering with the city. None of that has taken place. And so the notion that the city has vetted this is absolutely incorrect. El Paso voters sent us a mandate. We need to build the arena, and I'm hoping that we have some bold leadership on council to get that done.
And if possible, let's go ahead and talk really quickly about whether or not it's conceivable that this project that we've been talking about can be ditched altogether, with the idea of starting over on the Multipurpose Performing Arts and Entertainment Center and the arena. Number one, can it happen? Number two, what would happen to the existing bond funds? Can these bond funds be used as a base to create a partnership that could be partially public and partially private in order to increase the total budget and scope of the project, kind of what we've been talking about? And more importantly, under the Texas Government Code, can we put it back to the voters to decide whether or not to revoke some of the unsold municipal bonds and essentially start over?
Let me hit the last part of that question first. And I think I'm not a finance guy, so I would really have to get with somebody who understands arbitrage better than I do. But I think there's certain arbitrage issues that you're going to have if you try to just retire the bonds.
I can give a clear answer to that and say, yes, it is a possibility to retire the bonds. You know, there are two different ways that it can happen. It can go to the voters, and the voters can choose to essentially revoke the authority to issue the unsold bonds, or the city council can decide to do it without going to the voters. Those are kind of the two options that are on the table. But it is an option going forward, and I think it's one that the city council may take up. Just, you know, that's only my opinion, but that seems to be the direction that the wind is blowing, maybe.
Well, make sure you ask the question about arbitrage.
Yeah.
Well, I think as a community, before we make a one-off decision, we need the full strategy, the full plan that's going to get us across that finish line. So stop with these one-off decisions, the shoot and the name second, and let's work together, come up with the entire plan that gets us where we need to go.
And I think this is a perfect example of how El Pasoans get in the way of economic development. We've all heard the stories about SeaWorld wanting to come here. El Pasoans got in the way of that opportunity. If we go back to the voters, we're at risk of it not getting approved and then having to wait 2 years, as Mayor Cook mentioned. If we don't build it, then we will lose credibility. I am very curious how the city is going to sell back those bonds and how that would impact your bond rating. This is irresponsible, and I won't support that.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to the next step, and we're hoping to hear more later this week. Unfortunately, we're out of time. Once again, we want to thank former Mayor John Cook, El Paso City Representative Cassandra Hernandez, El Paso City Rep Chris Canales, and Joe Gudenrath, the Executive Director of the El Paso Downtown Management District. And I'm very appreciative of everybody here today, and thank you again for all of your service to the El Paso community that we all love and we all take pride in, and we are all looking forward to seeing this project move forward. And also, to you at home, thanks for joining us tonight. Have a positive, productive week filled with lots of joy. I'm Paul Cicala, and this has been ABC-7 Extra.